hello again, KCIW listeners, and welcome to Curry Café. And happy Father's Day to all you daddies out there. I'm producer and volunteer Rick McNamer. Every Sunday from 3 to 4, your host, Ray Gary, puts together a panel of guests to discuss topics of interest in our community. Listeners can participate by texting in questions or comments to 541-661-4098. Again, that's 541-661-4098. Now here's Ray to tell us about today's show.
Well, as I say every week, we search every nook and cranny of the community to find guests who have interesting things to talk about. But this week we didn't have to search because this guest came to us. So I'll turn the mic over to her and she can introduce herself, tell you all about herself, and we'll go from there.
Well, hey, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. Just a little bit about me. I've raised sheep and chickens here. I've been here for 23 years. Currently, with the economy, we're getting problems with prices of everything. But I'm really here to speak about what's going on with the farmers market. I've been the manager of the farmers market for many years. I started selling as a vendor myself around 2008. We started out at the Grange Hall, but the Grange Hall was too small for us. That was in about 2008. Anyway, the Yock family, they used to vend with me because they've grown vegetables for many years. So Sylvia Yock and her husband would bring their vegetables there. Well, when we decided that the Grange Hall was just going to be way too small, I had more vendors than I had space for customers. I mean, it was crazy. So that property that we're now in is a 3-acre property with the church on it. And Richard said to me, well, come down and have a look. And I looked at it and the church was just not going to work. So he said, no, I'm going to buy you a marquee tent. And he and I set the perimeters where it was going to go, and it was 80 by 40. I don't know how much it cost him, but it was quite the thing. And anyway, we moved in that, and pretty soon, within a year or so, we realized we didn't have enough room. So he put another 40 by 40 and made it an L shape.
Which is a good thing that you had to grow.
Yes, we were growing and always had more people. When do you have space? When do you have space? So anyway, then he said he was going to build a building. 2020, when COVID was here.
Oh boy, affected a lot of stuff.
It affected the price of everything. It affected everything. But we didn't close. We stayed open throughout COVID. We didn't have any reason to close. In fact, I felt like it was a safer environment than a lot of other places.
We are talking, by the way, to the manager, Linda Stimson.
So the building was difficult, and Richard York built that with his own money. He built it himself with one other person building it. So it took a long time. We went through the prices of timber going up and lumber, I should say. Anyway, we now have this building. It's got concrete floors, wide aisles, people with wheelchairs, strollers, walkers come around there. It's huge. I mean, I'm sure most of the listeners have been there. If they haven't, they should.
They should. I've been there, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Anyway, it's a long cry from the tent for sure. But we finally have this wonderful building, and we've been in there. It'll be 3 years, I think, this January that we finally got rid of the tent and moved in. And there's still work to be done for sure. But the kind of fast forwarding to this mess that we're in at the moment, the fire marshal had come in to look over the building and had put a few things that she came up with, which were nothing really. We took care of taking out the heaters. We took care of the signs so that everybody knew how to get out. We're open 10 hours a week in daylight hours. But anyway, we have these great big doors that are open. But the thing that she didn't like was the extension cables. So Richard was working on the extension cables and got about halfway through the building doing what she said, and we thought we had until August to do it. Richard had been going through some medical issues as well at the time, and his daughter took a job at TSA and was doing training, so everybody was busy. But anyway, then all of a sudden the county said, no, stop work. We don't want you to do anything else because we want you to do a new permit. Well, back in 2014, the building in the county gave him all the necessary instructions on how to build the building, and he had it engineered. Everything was done according to what they wanted him to do, and it's signed off. Everything was signed off. The fire department, the electrical company, everybody signed off on the building. So we're good to go. But the new people that are running the building department in the county, they want him to change everything. Changing the zoning, I'm not sure how they would do that, but he's talking about making the zoning into a commercial, which would put our agricultural building that's built on agricultural land in non-compliance.
And that one really throws me off, and I'm sure it throws all you guys off too. But so why would they do something like that at a wonderful community farmers market?
And why do they change the requirements after you've already been signed off with requirements?
I don't think anybody knows.
Generally, when something like that happens, like, I don't know, a building code changes something, if you've already built and taken care of it, your grandfather.
Yeah. Well, dropping a name here, Becky Crockett was the building supervisor at the time, has looked over the paperwork, and she says it was done correctly. So we don't know. We're not sure. So we're looking for an attorney. If anybody out there has any suggestions on an attorney.
Yeah, we are reaching out to the community for sure, because it's a wonderful place for the community.
It certainly is. But we have a red tag on the building that says that we're dangerous. It's a dangerous building, and it's like,
wow.
So, but we have finally got an appeal in. It took a bit to get the information to do an appeal, and it's complicated when you look at all the steps you have to take to do an appeal. It's certainly not as easy as it was for them to put a red tag notice on the door. And we're waiting to see if we can get a hearing.
Okay. But
we've been told when you get a hearing, you really should have an attorney to represent you at a hearing.
Yes. Yeah.
So what are the problems that they say that there is? You say you've upgraded the electric?
Well, the electric was okay, but they didn't like the extension cables.
Okay.
So, like, for instance, if I've got 10 by 40, and my freezers have this long of a cable, so it has to be plugged into an extension cable.
Right.
So apparently that extension cable needed to be changed to one that has
a higher rating,
like a higher rating,
yes.
or a switch on it or something.
That's a common thing at craft shows.
It's common everywhere in your house. You have extension cables everywhere.
You know, we would set up, and it'd be sometimes 100 vendors or more than that, and this cable, and then they're going into the booths, and then there's all kinds of strange stuff. I can recall putting together stuff with duct tape.
Yeah.
And I know there's dumber people than me. So
well, we have what we have. I mean, every booth, the booths in the market are 10 by 10, and every booth has its own designated two outlets. So, but people say, "Oh, well, I need a string of lights, and I need to plug my radio in, and I need to plug this in," and they don't all fit in two things.
Yeah, right.
So you're going to have extension cables, but he was working on that, and it doesn't seem to me like that was that big of a deal for it to then come and say that we were red tagged, dangerous building, get out, was basically what they did to us on the weekend at Memorial Weekend.
I was going to say, this is like a big shock to almost everybody there, right? And still no explanation from the county.
No.
Why exactly? Yeah, there's a big gray area here that was not understanding.
Wasn't the power per booth designated before you put the power in? Well, you have a cable running down that does all the booths.
No,
And
it's all conduit all the way around.
Right.
And it drops down to each booth, and each set of duplex outlets has its own switch
Breaker, yeah.
in the breaker box.
But they should have told you beforehand what. Well, it sounds like what they've done is code probably, and then their problem is extension cords
Yes.
to that.
Yes,
And you say you have a couple of refrigerators?
I have like 7.
Oh,
Well, because
I could see where that would get them upset.
yeah, but I have my particular booth. I've got 4 10-foot spaces, and I've got 7 freezers for my lamb. So I've got allocated to me. I have like 8 outlets. So it's not like I was short of power. I was short of cable.
Oh, gosh. Well, yeah, so, and again, anybody out there, I hope, there's got to be a lot of people hopefully listening that have gone to that farmer's market, and it's a wonderful place to go for a plethora of reasons. I've got a bunch written down, but text in, please, at 541-661-4098. And also, if you could offer any assistance to any possible legal help that we might have. And we did get a text, and I'm going to, sometimes I have a little trouble with these. Let me see if I can read this one. Okay. This text says, Family Mobile, we'd love to hear from you. Please help us improve your service plan. Oh, gosh. Never mind. Are we getting, what do they call that, phishing or scam?
You just did a commercial for whoever that was.
Well, hey, if I contact you, can you send us some legal help? We'll go from there. Okay, sorry about that, folks.
Well,
Anyway.
So maybe I can just go into the general people that the public that comes into the market.
Oh, please do.
How they are benefiting from that, because this is huge, and I think people don't realize how it is. I've been able to take SNAP, which is food stamp card, since 2013. And people come with their food stamp card and swipe their card with me. I have triple the money that I give out. So everybody, if they take, for example, it's hard to understand, but they take $20 out of their card, that's their money to spend on any food. They get an extra $20 in protein to spend, and they get an extra $20 in produce to spend. Last year, I took in $42,000 from food stamp cards that was spent. All Care Health gave me $40,000, which I spent every penny and some to give out to people to spend on protein. And then I also had, it was a little more than $40,000. I didn't know the exact amount, but that went to vegetables. In addition to that, there's a thing that's given out by WIC. They mail out these $4 coupons, the $4 coupons that go to people for produce. It's a program that runs from June till November. Sylvia is my only person that can take those, because they have like a special code on them, and she qualified to take these coupons. That was $13,500. So the money that went to people that in need, that we
and there are more these days.
Yes, this is last year, was over $135,000 that was spent in our market for food for people that are on low income.
Yeah. So many benefits to the whole community.
Do you? I'm trying to come up with why are they coming after you, for lack of a better word?
I don't think we don't know. Anybody knows?
Do you in any way assist the homeless people? Well, I'm looking for some reason that they're mad at this.
Well,
at the farmers market, and that could be a
no. I think no.
No, okay.
No. We haven't.
That's not an issue at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go ahead with what you were saying.
No. But then that's what a huge amount of money. It's a huge amount of money, and a lot of it I have to do paperwork to back all that stuff.
Yes.
But anyway, going on to vendors that are having problems because of what is going on.
Right. And the vendors depend on this.
Yes, I have a lot of people.
For their living.
Yes, I have a lot of people that do that. And I'll just touch on a few.
Please.
I have a young man who maybe a lot of the community knows that's in a wheelchair from an accident back in 2020. And he pretty much broke his back. And they had a fundraiser for him in the park in 2021. That money that they raised for him, he used that to make Shalom coffee. So that went to, it's kind of a lot of money to actually get a license to do coffee beans, get them organically certified, packaging, roasting, all the equipment that you need. It's quite a lot of money, but he did that with the intention of having an income for himself and his brothers. And currently, they're not able to sell their coffee. We are currently working in the parking lot.
Right.
Because I keep saying, with COVID didn't shut us down. This isn't going to shut us down. We're going to keep going no matter what. But he has trouble doing that. So they come a little bit for an hour or so and sell their bagged coffee. But it's they're trying to come up with a way of doing iced coffee and trying to make that a thing that they can do.
Okay.
But pretty amazing people. And then I have, I don't know, a lot of people might know Jamie, who started Zola's. And Zola's is now, it was a hole in the wall when I first.
I witnessed that. I was just there the other day, and it's a big change.
It certainly is. Well, Jamie,
a wonderful place to take family and friends when they come here, and just me.
Jamie
and the food state is good. That's the thing I was worried about.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jamie and her husband started that, and I remember going, and they had the pizza boxes on the wall, and how much fun it was. Well, Jamie was battling breast cancer. Mm-hmm. And I did verify with her that it was okay for me to say this. Okay. And that this past year she lost her husband and her brother. And she is Full Circle Pizza at the market.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite a fitting title that she put. And she works really hard. That is her only income.
Oh, my. Wow. And I've purchased a few of those Full Circle pizzas. Mm-hmm.
And she is pretty amazing. And her mother works with her, too. And then also, what's interesting about the farmers market, and, that a lot of people maybe realize, is that it's a launching pad for a lot of businesses. If you want to, let's trial balloon a business, let's go to the farmers market and see if my product is going to work.
I know some people in Fairbanks who did just that. They had things they sold at the farmers market and eventually opened restaurants.
That's right, or stores. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you a few that we've helped on that way. Karen at Sweetly British, I don't know if you know her. She started at the farmers market with a booth.
Okay.
And she buys in British chocolate and chocolate from other countries too.
Well, then I'll be hitting that up pretty soon.
Okay. Well, then she got a little shop going over there by the rice bowl.
Oh.
She opened a little place. And then she got so big, she's now in another place in the shopping center.
Okay.
So, but she started with us. And then another one that started with us is Vince at Whimsical Griffin.
Oh.
He started with us when we were in the tent. And he pretty soon realized he didn't have enough room. So he's...
Another good problem.
Yeah.
I guess.
So he's been there now for quite a few years. And another one that is interesting, Ophelia, she started selling tamales on a shoestring in the tent, and then she developed a following, and she owns and runs La Playa, which is down there on the boardwalk.
Oh, that place is awesome. Boy, I tell you, I hope my doc isn't listening. But wonderful.
Yeah, and she actually sends her tamales down to the market, and we still have her tamales. But unfortunately, the gal that helps her to sell them, she doesn't want to be sitting outside in a tent.
Oh.
So we're currently without tamales.
Oh, my.
So hopefully, another new one. I almost forgot. I have to mention this. Little Miss Mary's Bakery. They started with us when we had the tent, a table outside with just a few baked goods. She now just opened Well's Head restaurant.
That is, I used to go when it was operated by somebody. That is a wonderful, one of the most beautiful spots around here to have a meal. And that's good news for me because the other lady shut down quite a while back.
Yeah.
Well,
So Little Miss Mary's, she plans to come back to our market when the market opens, but she tried to do it outside one day, and she said, it's so dusty with the cars in the parking lot that we're going to wait. We'll wait until we're back in the building and come back. So at the moment, she's just operating out of Well's Head, but she's gone from a table with a few baked goods to a full-on breakfast, lunch, and dinner restaurant.
So that where we are set up now is what used to be parking for customers, right?
Well,
So
partially. We have kind of made barricades so that the cars can't come zooming into it.
That's another improvement that they've made. The parking at one time, I've only been going, I think, for the past 3 years maybe, but it was wonderful when I discovered that. I've been here about 6.5 years. But the parking, they've got lines marked now because before it was pretty helter-skelter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
know?
It
was almost fun.
Yeah. Almost.
Like, what do you call those bumper cars? No. But, yeah, they've done so many improvements. And it's, like what you're talking about, it's not just about the food. It's about the other vendors that have arts and crafts.
Oh, yeah.
We have local people entertaining there while you're shopping and having fun. It's such a positive for the community that I'm still flabbergasted that the county is hassling for I don't know what reason.
I maybe money. I don't know.
Well, boy.
Well, they want you to close down. So how does that benefit somebody? It sounds like you've taken care of all the fire hazards and things like that. Huh?
We can. I mean, what he has to finish up with would only take him less than a week. But they've told him to stop doing anything until they've got it ironed out. I don't know, because they are saying pretty much that the permit that we have is not right.
Oh, and that was another little issue. He paid for the permit. Is that correct? $1,000?
No. They wanted him. They said it was $1,000 just to sit down and talk to them, and figure out if a permit was how they were going to go about doing a permit.
This is the county.
But and I thought we had emailed each other or texted each other about this. I think, but yeah, the $1,000 was for just to look into it further for the permit.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's just what I understand.
What do they call it? Double jeopardy? I don't know. Okay, we have a text. Well, I'm going to look at this
look at it
before I get this again. Hold on, folks.
And
remind
if it's the one I think it is, just say no. I'm not interested.
Yeah, but anyway, it's such a, like I said, with the people there. I've met people. I've met friends there.
Oh yeah.
Just overall having a wonderful time. And there's so many other benefits. All the produce. It's nice to go to get produce that actually tastes good. Doesn't have the little plastic stickers all over it. That is, I mean, it's just such a positive.
And it's kind of a social thing as well. Like you say, you made friends there. It's not like walking around Freddy's or something.
Yes. No. Yeah. But also another thing you brought up, the produce. People, there's 10 or 15 people or so people in town that like to grow things. and they have, or they have an orchard, or they have, a garden, and they'll have an abundance, and they don't want to sell at the market, but they bring it down to Sylvia. She weighs it out, she pays them for it, and then she resells it.
Oh,
So that stuff is helping. It's helping the people that are growing, giving them a little bit of money. It's helping the people that are buying because they're buying local stuff. I mean, she gets lemons, Jerusalem artichokes recently.
Oh, God. I saw
so
those. Yeah.
so many things.
Yeah. Unique stuff that you're not going to see. And boy, I there's no way, I don't think, that it sounds like conspiratorial, but that like Freddy's and Grocery Outlet, they wouldn't be against the farmer's market.
No, absolutely not.
I can't imagine.
But what is it typical when you're applying for a permit to be charged to just to look at the permit,
I don't know.
Just to look?
Yeah, that one I don't know.
I've never got
they
permits to
give
build.
you an application charge. I think that what they do is, if I wanted to go to the county, for example, and find out if I could build something, and you go and you have to pay a fee to go and talk to them. They don't talk to you for nothing.
Oh, that I didn't know. I mean, I'm in California, it's a little different, but you'd think that would be the way to do it there. But no, I wasn't aware of that.
Never heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Not quite.
So somewhere there must be a book or something in the county offices for what requirements you need for such and such a thing. Like you need 2x6, 2x4s in the wall, all that, and kind of run down the whole thing. And it doesn't seem like that would cost $1,000.
Well, I don't think it's that particularly, but they want to look at your lot and your zoning and your the rules for your particular area, if you're rural residential or if you're residential duplex or whatever you are, and you go and you present to them what you want to do, but they don't do that for nothing.
Okay.
But they've already given you the permit and said you were okay to
No, I'm
build
saying to start with it, for you to go in to discuss before you even do a permit, to discuss what you want to do.
Like a consultation fee or something.
So I was under the impression you already had it approved.
We do. We are approved. We are totally approved, and everything was signed off in 2014. But the new people, whoever the new people are that are in the county.
Boy, how vague.
They want us to change it.
Yeah, and I have to go back real quick now. Has it already been officially rezoned as commercial? Okay, so that's in the works. They want to do that.
Yeah, but we are currently agricultural land with an agricultural building that was approved as a farmer's market.
Boy, are we still kind of? It's like the whole thing is missing.
So do you have an individual that you're dealing with, or is there a
not really
supervisor that's
not really?
So with all this crazy confusion, I'm going to go back to hope whatever this other texter is, stop. But our number is 541-661-4098. Anybody out there that knows where Linda Stimson and the farmers market could get some pro bono help, representation for a lawyer to figure out all this crazy stuff that's going on, please give us a text or you can even go on kciw.org after the program and give us any information you might have. Because that's what we need. This community needs to keep this farmers market, man, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
We just need to do that, need some help.
We do have, we have filed an appeal and we're waiting for a hearing. So we don't know any more after that. I mean, we're kind of like stuck, really.
Okay. So that is where you're at right now, just waiting to hear about when the appeal will take place.
Have you tried going to a supervisor's meeting? And
that's been offered as another option that we could see if we could get a meeting. But it's I don't know how often they meet, but the supervisors meet periodically. You could go to one of those, and it would be an open forum. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when would be.
I don't know that.
I don't know.
That's actually a
Because-
good idea.
yeah.
That
I mean,
sounds like
a good
the-
option.
Because it's really not something that's up to me personally. I mean, I'm just the manager of the people in the
Yeah.
market itself. I don't own the property. I'm not, the
Yeah.
person
And
that's doing all that.
who's the supervisor for this area? Is that the way they? Are the supervisors broken up to where each one is a certain area, or what?
Being
I
a
don't-
Californian, elected at large. Okay.
That's what I would start petitioning them to
Well-
see whether or not they even know this is going on.
I don't know. And as for a petition, I do have a petition that I'm putting together that will be available on Wednesday for people to sign. Apparently, we have to try and gather 1,000
Oh gosh,
signatures.
I will be there for sure. Oh, I'm usually there for sure anyway. Good. Okay. Good point, Linda.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I hope there's somebody out there who can
Yeah.
bring us up on this, having to give $1,000
Well,
fee just to have the permit discussed.
right. I won't mention the name, but with the person I am going to contact the other lady we were talking about
Okay.
after this and see if she might have some ideas, because she's really, really strong at that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. What else did I have here? I can tell you about some of our other vendors that
Oh,
are in the
please.
market
Right.
that have thriving businesses, actually. That's pretty amazing that, they haven't moved on to other pastures. They're still staying with us. I've got a local beekeeper who all by herself. She takes care of the bees and collects the honey and sells the honey.
Okay, and that's the way that the bee population in this country is under great danger right now.
It's a tough business right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good for her.
Yeah. So she's been in business for a while. And then I've got Dean and Susie Brookings Pickled Goodies. I mean, you can't even believe it costs him $2,000 for a permit, not a permit, a license to do pickled goods, because anything pickled is a little bit dangerous. You have to have certain pH levels, and you have to have certain. Anyway, it costs them $2,000 just to get a pickling license, and then every time he does a new recipe, like if he does pickled cauliflower, pickled carrots, whatever, he has to pay another $100 and have them test it and make sure his pH levels are right.
Wow.
There's a lot of money invested for them. But they're currently in the church building. We've got in the building there in the dining room. I've got like 5 vendors that couldn't really work in the parking lot, so they're
Oh,
inside.
that's a good question, because but so they're all legal in the church inside with the
Yeah.
commercial zoning, so to speak.
Well, no, the church is on agricultural, so they're just inside the building. There's nothing wrong with the church.
Oh, I
building.
see. Okay.
But
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe they'll come up with something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's right. I know there's a little offshoot of that.
So I've got my watch repair guy in there, and the honey girl is in there. The pickle people. I got a couple of people that are selling clothing that isn't really suitable to be out in the parking lot.
Okay. Well, so Linda, how about our silent guest just handed me a note. Thank you. What about contact info? Can people get a hold of you or anybody there to help out? We have a possible attorney that might help. How would we do that?
Well, my phone number, and I'm happy to have anybody call me, is 541-661-3860. And then I can pass that on to whoever would be appropriate person.
Okay, great. So there's actually, as far as the farmer's market, there's no like email site or anything like that?
No, you can. People can also find us on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Because we got Facebook is Facebook Brookings Harbour Farmers Market.
Okay.
I've got, I don't know, about 4,000 followers on that, so I got a few people.
All right, yeah,
Well,
Facebook, here we go.
Yeah, but the trouble with Facebook is there's so many people on it. I'll post something on Facebook, and then the next time, 5 minutes later, you're like disappeared because there's so many people that are posting. I don't know. I wish I could find a better alternative method of getting in touch with
Yeah.
people.
Or for heaven's sake, just come by and start participating in all the wonderful stuff that the farmers market has.
Yeah. It was funny because the other day, we had all this stuff going on, and then all of a sudden we get an official truck came into the parking lot and said, you got to take your flags down.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. What was the deal with that again?
Well, apparently I don't know, the roadways own the road and some, right on
right
the
away.
edges. Yeah.
Usually 150 feet from the center line.
So our flags were on their property,
Right away.
which have been there for years.
Right.
And we thought, no, somebody else targeting us,
Wow.
Sounds like
That
it,
is
yeah.
a little weird.
But no, they were targeting everybody up and down the 101. It wasn't just us.
Again, I'm speechless, man. There's all this stuff. The flags, that was always a wonderful sign to see. Wednesdays and Saturdays, you knew the farmers market was there. Colorful flags blowing in the wind, and the county wants to get rid of that.
Well, apparently he said that to somebody, and I don't know this, I don't know who would complain, but somebody complained about flags in general on the highway. And so he took it upon himself to go up, and I've had my signs stolen, not stolen, but taken custody of. If I had clapboard signs or anything, they just come and take them. They don't say, look here, you can't have that sign there. They just take them.
Oh, be darn. Okay.
There was a sign on the right side of the road if you're coming to town that somebody advertising that it had coffee or something at some point. That's a good idea to let people know that. So evidently he's gone as well.
Yeah, I don't know. But we've moved our flags back onto the next door house, which is private property.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give people that same
No. No. It was
impact.
to me, it was such a positive.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. It's kind of funny, and I don't mean to be too negative about the humane store that's not too far from there, but they had those no parking signs along there because it was kind of hard for people to see. Nobody pays attention to that. I think, they let them park there, but they're going to take flags down. I don't know.
I know. Well, we felt like we were being picked on that day, but I think it wasn't just us. It was just a coincidence.
The farmers market is definitely being picked on, it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I think I would definitely make a complaint to the county supervisor.
Well, that's a good idea to go to that, the Board of Supervisors.
Board of Supervisors, yes.
Once a month?
Find out when they have the meetings, or maybe, I don't know, you could probably
you can Google
get
that.
a free appointment with one of them outside the meeting. Either just going to.
Well, one little avenue anyway, another little open door,
I've
hopefully.
made that.
I know there'd been problems a while back with people getting building permits that weren't really very good buildings, or they weren't inspected, things like that. But that doesn't sound like what you have here at all.
I think our building is safe, and I feel like it was well built. It's
It worked for quite a while.
well,
As that was going up, I drive by it every day, and I don't know how long it took to build.
well, it was just Richard and one guy.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Wouldn't they have one guy building that? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Because he did it with his own money, and it just had to take a long time, and it was I was extremely grateful to them to do that, because
That's amazing.
I don't know where else we would be.
Yeah.
But I can tell you a little bit also about Richard Yock and his family. I mean, when I first met them, they do hydrangeas, but also he had cattle, because they've got 160, I think, acres over there, and his cattle were being slaughtered, and they were doing halves and quarters, which isn't very much money when you're raising cattle, when you're selling for $2 or $3 a pound like that, because that was just what they were doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I have to take my lamb USDA. I can't sell individual cuts of lamb without having it properly inspected.
Okay.
You can sell a whole lamb, but you can't sell bits of a lamb without getting an inspection. that what they do now is they take their cattle to the USDA butcher, and they've got now 8 or 9 freezers that they keep their beef, and it's local beef that's raised right there in the next lot to us. You can't get any closer. You can't get any more local.
No, and here again, gosh, I think I've eaten almost everything at the farmer's market, but I've purchased a few ribeye steaks from them. They're pretty awesome.
But what happened was at the end of last year, we had this message that was from Eureka, what's it called, Redwood Meats, going out of business. So Redwood Meats was our closest slaughter facility.
Oh.
And then everybody's scrambling because what are you going to do? Where are you going to send them? Mohawk is in Eugene, and that's where I send my sheep. But it's a 5-hour drive up and a 5-hour drive back. Plus then you got to go get the meat.
Yeah.
So he was without a butcher for a while, but they've opened a new one, Montgomery Meats in Central Point.
Okay.
So he's been taking his cattle there now.
Still a ways. Wasn't that the one you're talking about? Was that in Humboldt County?
I guess it was Eureka.
Yeah.
Redwood
Okay.
Meats.
I remember reading the local paper about that, where a lot of people, even down there, they were bummed out. Is it? They can't take their cattle there.
No. There's cows everywhere. When you're driving, there's cows everywhere. What are you going to do? Wow. So that was a blow.
Yeah.
And then what are you doing? You're feeding cows longer than you wanted to feed them, and you haven't got things to sell that you wanted to sell, and it was just all these things, and it's regulations is what it is. I think that Redwood Meats just couldn't
keep up. I
think he was trying to sell it, was unable to sell it, and just gave up. I mean, it is very difficult. Anything that you want to do, make you jump through hoops.
Yeah. A lot of hoops seem like that have been out there for the farm market. Boy. Well, they're just, like I said, almost just about every community seems to have one. And I came from Yuba City down there north of Sacramento, and it's it's flat and hot, but it's great for a lot of produce. That was when Yuba City first opened theirs, and it was done by a local rancher there. It was amazing. He did a real good job about setting it up and made sure that it was all local produce. And if it was organic, and he just did a wonderful job, and it really was one of the best things about Yuba City. I always thought.
Yeah, it's difficult, and it's difficult here because we don't have the best growing conditions.
True. Okay. Yeah, but now at one time, Sweet Cron used to have a little booth there, but I guess they don't come there anymore.
Well, yeah, they're getting older. And,
okay, aren't we all?
Yeah, but Linda Nelson is the wife, and she was very ill for a couple of years.
Okay.
They didn't have any help.
Okay. It's a small little outfit, because every time I go to Grants Pass or Bedford, I swing in there because there's always good stuff.
Yeah, and she's doing some. I've seen posts for her, but it's tough to load up if you haven't got much.
Oh, I remember seeing. Yeah. I talked to them when they were there about coming down. It's quite a little trek.
Yeah. Good drive. Yeah.
But yeah, it is.
Well,
but that's another thing. Like you said, maybe we're not this particular area, but we still service other communities, outlying communities like that.
Right.
And I think at one time I bought some apples there that were from somewhere out of in the foothills above Grants Pass. My point is, they might not be local here, but they're not too far away. We're helping those people too.
Well, yesterday I had the Chetco blueberries were vending at the market.
Oh, I saw.
They had the most amazing blueberries, and they'll be here she's going to try and come every weekend until their blueberries are just not producing anymore.
Man. Yeah.
I've got a couple more people that are growing. Will be there in the summer, as we get a little bit further into the summer. But it is difficult. I mean, like they had this really nice farmers market in Crescent City, that was in the parking lot at the fairgrounds. Remember?
Yes, and I had never been. Is that still going on?
No, they
Oh, my.
they moved it to be on Front Street by the ocean,
Okay.
where it's windy.
Yes,
Very,
Cold.
very
terrible place. Yeah.
And the person who was running it decided to change it into a California certified market, which put Cron couldn't be there because they're Oregon.
Well,
So-
they just have Easy Up set up in the parking lot on.
Yeah. So I think it's mostly a craft thing now. I don't think it's. And it used to be so great when it was at the fairgrounds.
The fairgrounds would be perfect for that.
Yeah, but they don't. They don't run it now.
That doesn't make sense there either, does it?
No, but I think it was something to do with the way they stopped cars coming in, and they didn't want like this, and they didn't like that, and then they ended up changing the manager and.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
You know, I do have my little quirky, funny story, if you want to call it that. It was when I first came. I moved here, and like I said, about 6.5 years ago, and coming down in the U-Haul and passing for the first time. I was in the U-Haul. My buddy was driving my car behind me, and I saw the sign, Sweet Cron. And we pulled
What
over.
everybody thinks.
Well, okay. And I said, boy, a bunch of hillbillies up here. I even spelled corn. Anyway.
In fact, you know, on in your cell phone every now and then you get the thing, a list of funny signs.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I've seen that in there more than once.
Anyway, I was wrong, and it's a great little place. It's in fact the first time when I came back through going to Grants Pass one day, and I pulled in there, and they have the you pull in, and about 3 or 4 dogs at the time would come and greet you, and I love that stuff. Maybe some people don't like it, but I do.
Yeah, she had a thing about how that sign came about. I don't know if you know how that.
I don't.
They hired somebody to paint sweet corn,
Okay.
and he spelt it wrong.
Oh, well,
Is
there's
that right?
And so instead of saying, take it down, do it again, they said, oh, no, leave it.
It probably added.
I always thought that was their name.
No, their name's Nelson.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a bad speller.
Well, sometimes you're concentrating on the letters. And
Yeah.
I guess.
But it was artistically done.
Wow.
Properly.
But it's not about spelling. It's about the good, fresh produce, man. And they have that, and so do the farmers. So does the farmers market.
Yeah, we do. We're not. And like I say, COVID didn't close us. We're not going to close. So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, work in progress, and hopefully somebody out there that does have some info. Again, the text line here, 541-661-4098, and we could certainly use anybody's help that's out there that might know an attorney or somebody that wants to do the work pro bono, or to even not, somebody that could help the farmers market.
And if anybody's around on Wednesday and Saturday, I don't know how long it'll take me to get 1,000 signatures, but we'll have our petition ready.
Well, I know I'll be there. There's one signature. Wow.
What exactly is the petition for?
She wrote up a whole thing. Jessica York, who's Richard's daughter, she wrote up a whole thing about keeping the market open, and we support the market.
Great.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
God, the local paper should have something about that too.
Should our 2-minute thing that we do on
The
Wednesdays?
soapbox.
The soapbox.
Hello. Yeah, we have a soapbox that every Wednesday we open the studio from 2 to 3, and anybody out there that has anything they want to talk about, complain about, sing a song, whatever, you can come in. 2 minutes of airtime. I'm going to work one up now for that, and we'll put it out on the air as a soapbox.
Okay.
So
That sounds good.
you bet.
Okay.
You bet we'll do that for sure Wednesday.
And when do you have to have the petition submitted by?
I don't know. I don't know that.
And you're going to be pretty much doing it, I guess, exclusively at the farmers market, huh?
I'm not sure. I thought I would. I'm going to leave here and go and get some clipboards, and I thought I'd get like maybe 4 or 5, and we'll put the signature papers on them, and I can give them around.
Okay. And the
Make
farmers
sure-
market. Oh, go ahead, Ray.
Make sure you follow the rules exactly.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they are, but you have to verify this and that. And everything.
Right. Yeah.
Did-
I've got that in Jessica's hands.
Yeah.
And again, the market opens at, well, I'm usually there by 9:30 and people are already selling, but officially 10 a.m.
Officially 10 till 3. But
10 till
yeah, I've got people that come in really early
Yeah.
and buy stuff because some people that don't like the crowds. It's like,
Well, I
Yeah.
don't think you moved here because you like crowds. So
Right. Yeah. Well, like I said, man, yeah, Wednesday, 10 a.m., be there to sign the petition and enjoy all the good stuff that's there. And again, there's just so many benefits. A lot we've already talked about, but it does enhance a community, brings kind of the community together,
keeps the money here.
yes.
keeps the money here.
Yeah, and that's one of my things. I mean, I don't know if this is an appropriate opinion, but they have all these big events in town all summer,
Yeah.
and they charge a lot of money, and the vendors come from out of town, bring in their stuff, and all those vendors that you see at the port, most of them anyway, and the ones that by the bank, by Goodwill, they have all those vendors there.
Oh, yeah, right.
They're out of town vendors, and so our tourists come here and spend their money, and those vendors take our tourist money out.
Well, another little nuance that you can put in there. I had, well, again, just, and there's also on all the local produce, there's a benefit of, I'll go even to climate change. It might be a big jump for some, but there's less transporting the produce
absolutely.
to and from.
That's right.
I'm going to hit my little bugaboo is these stupid little plastic stickers that I hate. I try. That's very environmentally damaging. Those things. You're not going to see that at a farmer's market.
Right.
That's for sure.
And people bring their baskets. They bring their shopping baskets. They don't.
Oh, and I do that too. I feel like the little, not fairy tale, but lady that's just going to task it, whatever. I bring my basket too.
Yeah, because
I'm proud of that.
people like to shop, minimally. I mean, why?
Yes. Yes, not to roll out the 100 plastic bags and
Yes.
get everything. Yeah.
Now that you mentioned that, I ordered some fabric bags, lace fabric bags from Amazon to do that. Put your apples in and all that. I accidentally ordered 2, so I'll bring one in for you.
I'll accept that gladly.
It's about 15 bags in each one, different size.
Okay. Okay.
But if for some reason or other I don't have them, I literally won't buy apples that day or anything.
Okay.
It
Okay.
goes against my grain rule. Like you say, pull those stupid plastic bags off.
Well, again, yeah, it's just nothing. There's no negatives about the farmer's market. To me, it's all positive. So, and we're down to about 5 minutes. So please, again, if anybody knows any way that you can help Linda Stimson and the farmer's market, give us well, you go on the website. We're almost out of time, but I'll give the text number one more time. Maybe there's one lone voice waiting. 541-661-4098 or kciw.org. And then you can come in if you have any ideas. You can come into the station and want to be a guest on this show to talk more about it, to offer any help. We'll certainly do that.
Or as long as you're saying that, if you have something you want to discuss on this program, we're open to
Oh, you bet.
those suggestions too. If you're out there and you have something you need to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you.
Oh, Linda, we're glad to have you. Like I said, it's a big deal for me, I know, and most everybody else. That place is always crowded, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's definitely grown exponentially since we were 4 people at the Grange. And actually, another person that I didn't mention was Kathleen Dixon. She started the farmers market right at the very beginning. And she had, she decided that she wanted to go a different direction, and she does delivery of local produce,
Otterbees, that's right. Yeah.
The odd thing is they seem to be coming at you aggressively, not in a friendly manner at all.
Right. Very strange.
Well, and yeah, like I said, it's has anybody actually tried to go directly? Oh yeah, I think you mentioned that to talk to them directly. Hey, what's going on? Why is this really happening?
Yeah, Richard and Jessica went up to the county and wanted to know how to do the appeal, and they were told, no, you can't do an appeal. You've extended your time. But he proved to them that he had sent an email requesting this appeal within the time, but they didn't get back to him.
If I were you, I would contact some of the county supervisors.
Well, hopefully
Either at one of their open meetings. You just go there and you put on there that you want to speak, and they don't know what you want
But
to
you
speak.
have an agenda, right? And
Agenda,
you can-
yeah. Get on the agenda and plead your case. They probably have a 5-minute limit or something. Either that, or I would just go and knock on their door, or however it is you get to talk to a counselor.
Bang on the door.
Yeah. Well, yes. I was being
bang on the door like banging on your guys' door for.
Yeah, I don't know if they're in their office all day or what the story is, but get a hold of one of them somehow.
Yeah, it's very difficult because a lot of these places, they only work 4-day work weeks.
Yeah.
4-day work.
Yeah.
So Fridays, you can't get hold of anybody.
Right. But they can sure get a hold of you if they want to
That's right.
discuss the
I
problem.
wouldn't do it by letter and I wouldn't do it by phone. I would go and actually speak to them in person, sitting across from their desk. That's where you get the best results.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Linda, I tell you, I'm glad you came to our show today and discussed all these issues. And I'm still out there. People come by the farmers market Wednesdays and Saturdays, and especially this Wednesday. Will that be the only day you're going to have the petition?
No, I'll have it until we get enough signatures.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I know I'll be there for sure.
Yeah, if you could, I think they've started having the Sunday concerts again, haven't they?
Yeah, I believe so.
Get some of your people to circulate with the
Oh,
clipboard.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they could
Right.
probably, I would imagine the concert would make an announcement. We're going to be coming through with petitions, and I guess they would. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Is it Dave that runs that? No, I don't.
I don't know. I thought,
Runs what now,
I thought
the-
Scott ran it.
The concert in
yeah.
the park?
Yeah. Oh, it's Scott.
Well, we could get that info.
Yeah, have them make an announcement a couple of times. Be people coming through with and give a little talk about why they want to do that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Well,
Because you're going to need to get signatures any way you can, not just people coming into the market.
Yes.
well, I would certainly bet the amount of people that I see at the farmers market all the time. It wouldn't surprise me that you get
Right.
all that you need pretty quick.
In the first hour.
There you go.
Have you ever done a count or have any way of knowing how
it's
many
really
people come in there in a day?
It's very difficult because I've got 3 different doors in, and
Yeah.
some
Just
people.
drive by and take a look.
And some,
Yeah, I know.
Some people come in and they fill their basket with one vendor, and then they go out to their car, and then they come back with their empty basket and fill it with another
You bet.
vendor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people bring their coolers with them, and it's a pretty big deal.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
Looks like we're about ready to
Well-
sign off here, y'all. Well, thank you very much, Linda. Hope to have you back,
Yeah.
maybe with a better story next
With good
time.
news, yeah.
Great.
And we will put together a spot on Wednesday.
Yes, we will have our
That's all.
soapbox. We'll be plugging that.
Appreciate
All right. Thank you all.
Thanks for listening.
You bet. KCIW 100.7, beautiful Brookings, Oregon.